The last film we're going to talk about is controversial, to say the least. Wouldn't you agree, Uncle Bill?
You mean the DVD release?
Yeah, the release
itself. Yeah, no doubt about that.
Because it is, from what I understand, the very last Code Red DVD ever. After all the complaints as far as the transfer on this DVD, I think the insane producers over at Code Red decided to close up shop. And the interesting thing is, and I don't want to name who our sources are as far as like who says this kind of shit, but we were talking to somebody recently about a lot of the stuff, and a lot of people ask that Code Red had announced that never came out. Like there's quite a bit that never really went anywhere. And from what I understand, a lot of those titles, they never ever owned the rights to any of those titles.
So they would just randomly announce shit that wasn't out and...
yeah, and put it up. We're going to bring it out.
No, you didn't.
And interestingly enough, this particular title, I remember when we interviewed Bill Olson, the guy behind Code Red DVD, and mentioned, hey, what about a Madman re-release? He seemed to have little to no interest in bringing Madman out. But oddly enough, the 30th anniversary is here, and we do have a brand new edition of Madman on DVD, and this comes out this coming Tuesday, September the 28th.
I'm hoping to God we don't have to explain the plot to Madman again. I don't know how many times we talked about this movie.
I don't know if we've ever really reviewed it, though.
Okay, here's the plot. Don't say his name, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, Madman is just a basic backwoods slasher movie. I mean, I think it's got more character than a lot of the backwoods slasher movies at the time. They set the legend up perfectly at the beginning of the movie. It's a local legend that of a farmer who killed his family and still roams the woods, and anyone who says his name will be killed violently with the axe of the Madman. And that's basically it. And the entire movie takes place at night. It is I think it's a really underrated movie as far as the cinematography goes in the film itself. Now, we'll talk about the DVD of this, the transfer on this, which has caused a lot of people, a lot of uproar, I guess, on the internet, is much like I think it was the 25th anniversary edition of Halloween. They auto color corrected the movie entirely. So all of the blue hue throughout Madman has been turned orangish.
Which I don't know if you've ever seen a movie color corrected in this way. It looks like shit because it looks. You know what happens when your tube goes out in your television and like one of the colors goes out and then the other colors try to like compensate for that color and they're like really like a lot brighter. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what this movie looks like. It looks out of place. Like the colors there's too much contrast in the colors.
Yeah. Well, actually on the back of the DVD too, it says that features it's the first time the movie has been anamorphic. I will give it that, from an HD master, which is.
And it went at a Monsters HD thing.
Yeah, it was the same master they used on Monsters HD, from what I understand. And, I gotta say, I can't defend the way the movie looks at all. I mean, it does look like pure shit, actually. Especially if you've watched the movie before and are used to seeing the movie a certain way. It just doesn't work the way it was released. And in addition to that, for a lot of DVD buffs out there, the DVD is not even a progressive DVD.
Yeah, it's interlaced, isn't it?
Yeah, which was common for DVDs to be interlaced if they'd come out in 1998 or 1999. But for almost 10 years now, that has been the standard. Even the most generic DVDs you can get, the Legend Films DVDs, are all progressive.
Why did they interlace it? Did anybody ever say? Like, why was it left that way?
I think the Code Red guys were pretty much playing dumb as to why that happened. Now, I know that it was a rushed release. The producer, Gary Sells, wanted this DVD out quick. So maybe that was one of the constraints where, like, hey, we don't have a lot of time. Let's just throw this thing out there. And it really does, the movie itself, it really does look like that's what they've done, unfortunately. Because you've got a DVD that Anchor Bay came out with in like 2001. As far as the picture quality goes, it trumps it. It totally does. Now that one wasn't a widescreen DVD. It wasn't an anamorphic DVD. But as far as the picture quality goes on that, it just really kicked the shit out of this one. So that's what you got on this.
The big thing I talk about with this movie, though, is the special features, because that's the only thing really that's going to cause you to want to buy it and trump the Anchor Bay version, because it's not going to be the picture quality. There's no way. The Anchor Bay version looks a lot better. Yeah,
but the thing is, the Anchor Bay version didn't have hardly any special features on it.
Yeah, it didn't have any.
Had an audio commentary and I think just various stills or something like that. But this one, and this is why I'm going to say you got to go out and get this DVD. One of the reasons is there's a 90-minute documentary on the movie, and it was done by fans of the film and features Paul Ehlers, Madman Marz himself, features Michael Sullivan, who played, I think his name was Dippy in the movie, the chef, the little chef guy that was drunk and was seemingly drunk in the interview too. You also had Gary Sales is interviewed. I think one of the cameramen is interviewed. Who else? One of the leading ladies in the movie.
You know who wasn't interviewed? It's shameful too.
Who that?
Galen Ross.
Well, I could have predicted that.
It's like, buddy, what in the fuck is going on with that? Like, I still don't understand it. I mean, this documentary was made mostly by fans just so they could have a documentary on here. And it's one of the only 3 movies she's ever done that would ever be recognized by anybody. It would be Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow, and this movie. What's the big fucking deal?
I don't know. I mean, that's one of those deals where eventually we will find out, because one of these days we'll run into her at a show. I mean, I don't know when, but it'll eventually happen. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing, like, I would just love to hear her perspective on the movie itself. But we didn't get that here. But we also have a lot of fans of the movie are featured in the documentary, including us, Uncle Bill. We were actually in it. This is the very first thing like this we've ever been a part of.
We're prominently featured in the documentary, too, which is pretty amazing. I'm surprised Uncle Creepy wasn't in this documentary, too, though.
Uncle Creepy was missing from this documentary. It's just, that's the thing, though, man. When you have fans making something, it's always going to be better than if it's just a guy. Like, take the Friday the 13th original releases they did. The guy wasn't a fan of the movie that did the first 2 or 3 Friday the 13th DVDs when they came out a couple of years ago. He just wasn't a fan, and you could clearly tell that. But when you have guys like Michael Felcher, who's a fan of the genre, and Victor Bonacore, who's a big horror fan, and the guy that directed this, and I can't pronounce this guy's last name, Dave Benlike or whatever, he's the guy that edited it, and is a big fan of horror as well. He works at Shriek Show, which is one of the few guys that still have the job at Shriek Show. It's just a really fun documentary. They actually, throughout the documentary, talk about the various aspects of the film, have fans showing off their collections of stuff. I want to get your thoughts on Larry New, the guy with all the Madman heads and stuff.
There's at least 1 or 2 people on all these documentaries that I've been watching recently, are these uber collector people that just, they pick a movie and just fucking go all out, like, collecting shit from that one particular movie, and that's definitely this guy. Like in Nightmare on Elm Street, the Never Sleep Again, they had the guy that had like all the fucking gloves from like all the movies, and he had them like, he knew everything about each glove, and then you got this fucking guy who's like, I don't know how it is that he focused in on this particular movie this much and like has that much shit involved with the movie, but it just does.
Yeah, I mean, from what I talk to Paul Ehlers on a regular basis since we've started helping out with this DVD, and he was just telling me about the amount of money this guy spends on getting stuff made. Mm-hmm. Like getting a resin axe made from a sculptor that looks exactly like the axe from the movie costs quite a bit of fucking money. Mm-hmm. So,
and then the busts and stuff too. Jesus, I mean,
they had like 6 or 7 Madman heads.
Yeah,
look like to me. So, yeah, but you get to see that on there. You get to see some of my collection, which I don't have. I actually have one Madman head now. I'm just starting my collection.
That would have been a great thing to have for that documentary at the time.
I show various posters and videos and stuff like that I've gotten over the years. But it's just and they go back to the location for a while and for the first time in a while, and it's just a really fun documentary. And for the folks wondering if they should plop down the money for this, I would say go ahead and do it just for the extra stuff.
It'd be all right if it was like $15 or something, but fucking $22. That's hardcore money.
Well, yeah, but again, we all know what happened when the Anchor Bay DVD went out of print and how much that was. It's still going to be worth a lot of money, evidently.
I was thinking about that, yeah. It's probably never going to be not worth money now.
And this thing isn't going to be out long, from what I understand.
What was there, like 1,000 made?
I don't know how many was made, but there's not going to be any more made after this initial run. Like, I don't know how many they printed. So if you want to grab it, I would say grab it violently. It's the 30th anniversary edition. And they also feature the Darren Miller from CKY is in this and talks about a song that he wrote based on Madman.
Yeah, and Darren, I think he's done a lot of stuff for Don't Go in the Woods, too.
Yeah,
like he's got a backwoods slasher fascination.
Yeah, I'll tell you how much of a slasher fan he is. He actually married a slasher.
Yeah, from he married Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp.
That's his ultimate possession right there.
God. That's kind of scary if you think about it, though.
Yeah.
For her.
Yeah. You also have band fans of Madman, which actually features our version of the Madman Marz theme too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep.
But also other bands that did stuff on the movie as well, and features the original audio commentary that was on the Anchor Bay disc with the director Joe Giannone, who passed on since then, and Tony Fish, who also passed on, was on that commentary as well. So, a lot of stuff on this.
Yeah, I mean, the special features, a lot of people were bitching about the sound quality where it was made by fans and stuff. But
a couple people were bitching.
Yeah, like you said, and I agree with this too, I can't really tell that much of difference between when it cuts in and out. You know, it's not as noticeable as people make it out to be.
Yeah. So, you know what? Hey, I recommend it. I say check it out. And for those that for those that don't have the DVD of the Anchor Bay, you'll want to get it to watch the movie anyway. At least you'll be able to watch the movie. I mean, it doesn't look that great, but still, I mean, it'll be a version of the movie to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, there's got the documentaries and stuff. It's definitely ups the last one in special features content. So, yeah, get that now.
Yeah. So that is that, and we appreciate everybody tuning in and the few people that joined us on the call-in portion.
Thank you.
Looks like a nutsack. So until next week, when it'll be the 1st of October, Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
I'm the Crib Kentucky.
And I'm Uncle Bill.
And you've been listening to DEADPIT.com.